Hello and welcome to a very special edition of MavMedia. Today, I'm your host, Branson Kaiser, joined by 2018 elected and 2022 elected Governor of the state, Polis. Jared, how are you doing today?
Great, Branson. It's great to be on the show.
I'm very happy to have you here. I've never interviewed a guest quite like you, so this is going to be a fun one.
There's no one else quite like any of us. We're all unique, aren't we?
Exactly. That's exactly. I guess my first question for you today is, what brought you to the Western Slope, and what brought you to specifically CMU?
Well, I'm all over the state all the time as governor. So I actually was in Aspen yesterday, Grand Junction today. I highlighting some local businesses, and of course I'll be out in Palisades celebrating the peach harvest. But also here at CMU campus, we are holding one of our economic forums with 100 local businesses that are really talking about how Colorado can be more competitive. So I just came from that. We have a great meeting and really a lot of great ideas.
Great. Yeah. Going into kind of the economic decision making over there, Colorado has seen a significant growth, but that growth has also made housing more expensive. How do you balance attracting new businesses and workers while keeping Colorado housing affordable for the people that already live here?
Yeah, so any of your fellow students have taken basic economics 101 know that the price of a good is a function of supply and demand. And that applies to housing, meaning housing costs are a function of supply and demand. Now, it's good that demand is high, but people want to live in Mesa County. People want to live in Colorado. It's a wonderful place to live. Our unemployment rate is lower than the national average. But then what you have to look at is the quantity and supply. And we have artificial constraints in supply. We've made it too hard to build new homes. So with higher demand and limited supply, it's pushed prices up. And so we focused on, of course, not reducing demand, not making Colorado worse to live. We want people to live here, but increasing supply and removing some of those barriers, making it faster and easier to get permitted, being able to build with modular and prefab housing, which can reduce costs, all those different tools in the tool shed that allow more homes to be built so that, for instance, recent graduates of CMU can afford to get into a starter home for $200,000-$300,000 and hopefully have a mortgage payment that is similar to or not much more than a rent payment would be.
Nice. Now you said something that kind of caught me, and it had to do with like the job growth of Colorado. So I have a quote from the Colorado Department of Labor and Land that reads that Colorado added just 100 jobs from May 2025 to May 2026, and the state's job growth rate was 0%, compared with the 0.3% nationally. What do you believe Colorado is doing wrong when it comes to creating jobs, and what specifically are you going to do differently moving forward?
Well, first of all, our unemployment rate is below the national unemployment rate. So for all the states that have less unemployment, you're probably would be mathematically difficult to have more job growth if you're coming from having more jobs already. I mean, we obviously want job growth. We're really focused on listening to local businesses about what we need to grow jobs. You touched on one, housing. That's one of the things that we're a victim of our own success. When housing costs are high, companies look at other markets because they know their employees need a place to live. So that's one of the big ones we need to do. The other things we've heard in this meeting today is more stability around how and efficiencies around how we do state and local taxes and coordinating it so there's less paperwork, speeding up approval time, which we've been working on, reducing regulations that get in the way of businesses succeeding and growing, especially small businesses. So really trying to drill down on each of those topics, hearing from businesses themselves, so that then we're going to release an action plan in late September, early October that really has some result, because we're doing these listening sessions not just in Grand Junction, but Denver, Colorado Springs, all over the state. We want to make sure we hear from businesses, and that informs what they feel are holding them back from further success and growth so that we can help them.
Nice. Yeah. A lot of Colorado's economic growth is centered along the Front Range. What can the state do to make sure communities along the Western Slope and rural Colorado benefit from that same growth as well?
Western Colorado is doing very well, and obviously we have legacy industries in agriculture, but also new takes on them. Like, for instance, Mesa County has become one of the nation's top wine regions, right? After, of course, California, which is number one, we sort of compete now with Oregon and a couple other states as that number two wine region that attracts tourism to the area, as well as, of course, now attracting advanced manufacturing, aerospace to Western Colorado, partnering with CMU and others to really make sure we have a world-class workforce to help power those jobs of the future and bring them right here to Western Colorado.
Right, so the investment still needs to keep coming from the from the Front Range over to the Western Slope to keep building on what we already have,
Yeah,
not just on our
not just
wineries,
the
but
Front
on the
Range.
infrastructure and everything moving forward.
And not just the Front Range. We all attracting investment from New York, from California, from Texas. We want, Western Colorado to be an even more amazing place to do business, and it's growing very fast. The logistics hub at the airport, we've invested in the airport, upping our capacity there. We're doing a lot of work working with the town on making it more transit friendly, easier to get around. So a lot of these improvements will help make Grand Junction and Mesa County more competitive.
Awesome. And my final question for you today, if you could point to one economic development policy from your time as governor that made you believe has made the biggest difference for Colorado, what would it be?
I'd say it's getting some of these big wins. Like, we're excited about the Sundance Film Festival coming to Colorado, by the way. And there's also, of course, a Grand Junction tie-in. We're going to work with CMU on the cultural piece, but also some of those Utah fans that come in every year will hopefully spend the night in Grand Junction on the way in as well. So lots of great opportunities. That's a big win. Working with the Broncos around their new stadium at Burnham Yards. The Rural Jumpstart program, which benefits Mesa County and rural Colorado. I visited a Rural Jumpstart store, the Sensory store on Henderson earlier today. The state is able to provide more hands-on assistance to help rural businesses get off the ground, and that's really exciting.
So you don't have one specific one?
They're
Just
all
just a
important.
multitude of
There's no
things that
silver
fall
bullet,
under.
right? I mean, I wish you could just say, oh, you do this and you have economic development. It's really the constellation of all these things,
Right.
and many more that we haven't even had the chance to mention today. I wish that there was a silver bullet or one thing, but there's simply not. There's a playbook, there's an action plan. We're learning more and we're following it, but it's not as simple as just snapping your fingers and things happen.
Well, thank you so much, Jared Polis. It was a pleasure for me getting to interview you here. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have today. Back to you in the studio.